What was the last thing you guys remember?
We were level 10.
God, no.
David, we have to level up.
Yes, I understand that, but you're not level 10.
Yeah, but if I didn't start high, you wouldn't have compromised with me in the middle.
That's not true. I'm not going against you guys.
Level 15 or bust.
Eventually you'll get there.
No.
What
Today,
was the last...
Right now.
No.
What level do you think we deserve to be after fighting gods in another dimension, rescuing ourselves, and then fighting off a horde of bunnies?
You haven't done that much combat, to be honest.
What?
You really haven't.
David, you just don't know how to measure intellectual success.
God.
Our scheming is on another level. You haven't seen this kind of scheming, that's why you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah, because you're trying to scheme me and not the actual game.
By the end of the game, we will own the game.
All right.
You will not see it coming.
What was the last thing you remember, Eddie?
Buffalo Man made all the bunnies submit to him, and then he had sex with everyone individually.
Except for me.
No, you were there.
No, especially you.
No.
Yeah, no, especially you.
Called him racist, and he didn't do it.
Why is he racist?
Because he came after me, because I'm an animal, and he's a beastmaster.
That's what he wanted, Dylan.
I feel like it's attraction rather than racism.
Nope, he's putting me in a box because of my race. A box he would like to fuck. And I'm no one's box to fuck.
Alright. The camera cuts to a quick shot of the broken hole in the wall in the tavern. We see the bugbear and the dark elf sitting there looking out through it, and then we see Rib and Howland and the Beastmaster known as Bendel. Bendel kneels down into the snow, grabbing at his wounds. He looks like he's in a lot more pain than beforehand. What is Howland and Rib doing?
I picked my nose.
I just sit there and I kind of wait.
My hat is currently just a foam finger.
Bendel stands back up, but he staggers.
Bend over.
He was obviously hurt before, and I'm assuming right now he's even more hurt.
He looks tired. He looks exhausted, like he just expanded a lot of his power.
Okay, I want to roll medicine to see if I can fix him.
I can work with you on that. What does Rib have in his inventory? By the way, something you guys need to write down in your inventory. Both of you grab a pen and a pencil, or pen or pencil, preferably pencil.
David, I am an adult. I do not own a pen.
Why you gotta call me out like this? I don't like the scratchiness that pencil's lead gets onto the paper. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. It's not
I have a
something-
permanent marker. That's it.
Please
That's
don't do
what
that.
you get.
No.
And I get to write it on my knee.
Oh boy. All right.
Alright, what am I
Both-
writing down?
Both of you have to write down what Aldenreich gave you 2 blank white masks beforehand, before you guys even talked to anybody. This was when you guys were in his office. He gave you both 2 blank white masks. Also, I will let you roll medicine if you tell me what you have to perform this medicine, because you already tried using the bandages and they didn't really do a lot of help, if you remember.
I want to use my Bowie knife.
To do what?
The metal. He has a heavy metal infection, and the metal inside my Bowie knife is the correct metal to counteract the effects of the other heavy metals. And due to, the lack of heavy metal cleansing medicine in this time period, I think it's our best shot, and it's the only thing we can try.
You're just going to stab him, is what I hear.
Let me roll.
No.
Let
That
me
doesn't
roll.
make any sense.
Yeah,
No.
it does. Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Hey, David, you're not thinking hard enough here.
Oh my god, this is what I'm talking about. It makes no sense.
David, here's the facts. We're in a time period where anything could be a medical procedure. I could just cut out your appendix. Just because I said that was it, that's it. I'm cutting it out. But if I roll, and I get a good roll, and it goes well, we're good.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to roll medicine. I'm going to cut off his head because he has a headache.
No.
Oh.
Wrong.
I rolled a nat 20. That's not how it works.
I'm not gonna cut his head off, though. Gonna cut out the infection. And I'm going to heat up my Bowie knife in the fireplace so that it's clean and it cauterizes the wound.
What are you going to heat it up with?
We're gonna start a fire.
Roll survival and then roll medicine. No, roll medicine and then roll survival.
I got it.
No, you got a 4. So that didn't happen. And you got an 8. So guess what? Here's what happened.
What happened?
You tried to light a fire and the blizzard blew it out. And then you're like, fuck it, I'll try using my knife. And Bendel was like, nah, I'm not doing this. No. You guys keep trying to come out at me. I'm not doing this. He didn't actually say that because that's not his voice, but it didn't happen.
I think you should sound like Howie Mandel.
God,
What does Howie Mandel sound like?
please, just stop.
Just listen to Howie Mandel.
Shut up.
What do you mean?
Stop. I do not need to hear Howie Mandel.
I could be Howie Mandel from Little Monsters.
Yes.
Hey, bud. I already gave him a southern accent. Stop changing their accents
Just keep
already.
it southern. Don't do Howie
I
Mandel.
will. Okay. What are you guys doing now?
Okay. Hey man, I'd like to move along the plot. So, where do you think we can go find this bunny asshole? Where is the cave?
We need to go.
The bunnies went towards the forest and then they disappeared into the snow. And he said that's the entrance. The blizzard, the winds pick up, and you feel.
Like Rocky Road, Moose Track.
Both of you roll Constitution saving throws right now.
Okay.
There's a dragon.
Well, I'm fucked, and that's
Yeah.
That's nothing. Yeah, no, there's no magic involved with that,
Yeah. No.
so I'm definitely fucked.
Nice.
Yep. Eddie, take 5 points of damage. Dylan, take 3 points of
I
damage.
didn't take any damage, don't worry.
No, you did. It's cold damage. Constitution saving throw. The blizzard picked up. It's getting really cold.
That's a big guy.
Alright, go on.
I'm big ouch right now.
Dale, put down the guitar, please.
I don't have it out anymore. I put it down after that.
Let me hear. I wrote it down. It's in my notes. Dylan! Why?
Why would you believe me?
I've always wanted to learn how to play guitar, but I don't think I have the fingers for it. I've got like really tiny nubby fingers.
That's because you've only used them for tiny little nubby finger activities.
Dude.
Dylan, you're at 23. Howland, you're at 24.
Dylan, even if I had the nubbiest fingers on planet Earth, I would still never have your leprechaun ears. You can take that to the bank.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have your jar ass head.
Can you put down the guitar?
Okay, alright, hold on. Let me get it out of my system.
People look at you, Dylan, walking down the street, and they point and laugh and say, "There goes the little leprechaun boy." That's what they say.
Alright, I'm done.
What are you both doing?
Alright, I'm putting it away.
Fucking, I'm trying to get out of this fucking wind, I'll tell you that.
We gotta go to sleep, Bendel. I'm gonna die.
He gestures to himself and he goes, "Yeah, you're gonna die."
I'm using primeval awareness. What do I see?
You had it go. I'm gonna say you had it going since because like you literally just used it, and you saw all of the bunny beasts go towards the direction that he had pointed, and they had gone underground.
Alright, I get it. I go to the ground where I see tracks. I put my finger on it, and I smell my finger, and I act like that's how I know where to go. But realistically, I'm gonna follow where they all went.
Okay, Bendel and Howland, they see Rib start heading off into picking up blizzard, almost losing him in the sight of the snow. And Bendel starts heading towards that before Rib disappears completely. Howland, what are you doing?
I'm gonna follow Rib for the sake of the
No,
plot.
no. Helen, I'm speaking to you telepathically.
Oh, yeah, what?
Tell him you gotta go take a piss.
Okay, but why specifically do we not want him to come with?
You know what you must do, crazy girl.
He is a beast master. Master of beasts.
Crazy girl locked up. Take a piss?
Wait, why? But Rib wanted to keep her alive. Why would you want to kill her at this point now?
Because if I die, she better die. And I really think I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of this cave.
Oh.
I mean, I'm at 23 out of 39. I think Eddie starts with lower health than that, so...
I'm actually, you know what? Okay, this actually might be pretty great. Yeah, I'm gonna go back inside the tavern and pick up the crazy bitch, and then I'm gonna go follow where Rib was. I'm bringing her with.
You go into the tavern through the hole in the wall, and you see the bugbear and the dark elf just kind of stare at you, and one of them says, "Hey, what you doing?"
Don't worry about it.
What?
Why are they not following us already?
Because it's cold, you guys just
Who
took
the fuck
a bunch
do
of...
they think they are? They're irresponsible.
No, the thing
I
that
wanna
you're...
fix their
The whole
problems.
thing that you're forgetting right now is that those people in that tavern are literally big skeks, and that's just how it is.
I get it, but they gotta come, regardless. It's not allowed. We need at least cannon fodder.
I'm just using the.
I'm gonna
crazy
say, as a
bitches
DM,
bait.
please don't make me take more than the characters I have to deal with already.
David, I have 23 hit points. I need cannon fodder.
I'm just taking the crazy one. Use her like a stick with Mage Hand and beat the fucking rabbits with her. Gonna use her like a club.
Go on. Tell you a tale.
It's so hard to go in and out of it when you guys stop it and keep going. Try to stay in characters as much as possible, and this will help my editing and my flow of storytelling. After you say, don't worry about it, and you just trudge off into the blizzard, the camera stays on Howland as he disappears back into the blizzard with the girl wrapped up over his shoulder. And then the camera cuts to the bugbear and the dark elf, and the dark elf goes, "Are we just gonna kind of sit here?" "Well, I was kind of hoping. I didn't want to go out there." They sit there for a moment of silence, and then it cuts back to Rib as he's following the tracks of the snow through the blizzard. Bendel pushing forward, just struggling against the wind, and Howland bringing up the pack, now with this struggling woman over his shoulder. Finally, Rib, you would come across I wouldn't say giant, but a bigger hole than you are. It's bigger than you, and it's in a completely perfect round circle in the ground. Surrounding that circle are stones all around it, and in the center of that circle seems to be a tree, but one of those skinnier trees that goes up, and it's completely frozen in the center.
Who are we supposed to be finding?
Big Rabbit King.
Alphonse. No.
What?
The long-eared king, but remember Alphonse was...
Can you give me a description on that guy?
He is a half-orc that if you looked at him, he would look like Terry Crews. He's got a bit of a mohawk thing going back into a...
Night elf mohawk.
No, it's kind of like it's slicked back. He has long hair into a ponytail, but it's not too long. It's kind of like a little bun at the back of his crown on his head.
So it's like that Asian hairstyle.
Yeah, kind of a little bit. And he's got tiny fangs, like an underbite. That's another thing. Eldric and Magwell Sire showed you a drawing of him. Eldric and Magwell Sire explained that him and his team were in Hansome, and they went missing, and someone came back. They were in a coma, but they explained that something had gone down, and then they slipped into a coma. And through some type of disease that they had, they got really sick.
Did they die?
They were in a coma last time you guys heard about them.
So it's Bendel.
Bendel? No, Bendel is not part of the team with Alphonse.
I say, hey, Bendel.
He's screaming over the blizzard.
Did you see a half-orc come through Hansome a little while ago?
Before the blizzard came, there was a few people came up and tried to attack me. One of them might have been a half-orc. Can't really remember. It all happened so quickly. Why are you bringing this up now?
Forgot to ask about it. Other things seemed kind of important at the time.
Well, I guess that's fair. But can we get out of this cold, please?
Yeah.
You want to jump in this hole right now, or...?
Bendel looks down at it for a second, and you see a long string of smoke come out of his mouth, as if he's trying to sigh and breathe heavily, and he stoops down.
You mean steam?
You could compare it to smoke, if you were trying to be poetic in your writing or wordplay. And he stoops down, and he puts his hand into the hole, which seems to be covered by some form of, it looks like water, but he puts his hand through, and he says, "It's not water, but it's warm down there."
What is it?
I don't know. It feels like jelly.
Oh.
Can I roll for athletics real quick?
To jump in?
Yeah, but like athletically.
Roll and then describe what. I'll see what you do. You fall. You trip.
You
trip.
No, I tiptoe in. That's what I was rolling for. I was tiptoeing in.
If it was a 1, you would have tripped. Fine. But you put your toe into it, just like he described. It feels like jelly for the first bit, and then it goes in farther, and you don't feel it, but it is warmer down there.
Can I investigate what the fuck exactly this is? Because I am terrified.
What's, is that +3?
Yes.
So that's a 19. You enter out of the blizzard, and you see Bendel and Rib looking at this hole in the ground with this frozen tree sticking out of the center, and this weird jelly-like material hiding what else is in the hole. And you're looking at this, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and trying to understand what this is. But upon looking at it, this kind of looks like something magical, something otherworldly, supernatural almost. It looks like this is something a ritual would be used to open a door somewhere else. This was where Bendel had pointed out for all the bunny beasts to disappear into. Rib's using his primeval awareness. He senses all the dwellers in this place. Go back to Rib. Once you come over here, but you don't recognize the bunny beasts inside of this hole. Like, there's bunny beasts still around, but they're not in this hole anymore. Howland, you're still trying to think about this. This is a weird doorway.
What does it smell like?
You can't smell anything. It's too cold.
David, you can smell. I'm a bugbear. I can smell much better than your perception.
What exactly are you smelling? Like the area of effect?
The jelly?
Oh, the jelly. The actual jelly. It smells disgusting.
I would laugh so hard if it was just a bunch of rabbit shit.
What does it taste like?
You taste it?
Yes.
Constitution saving throw.
No, dude, it's like a dog. Like a dog would definitely do it.
Yeah. Make a Constitution saving throw.
What if I don't want to make a Constitution saving
17 plus what? It tastes awful. It's like you're licking a D-volt battery. You do not want to put this in your body.
Howland.
Yeah.
It's corrosive.
Yeah, and it smells like shit.
Which means it's acidic.
I got an idea here. So, you said there's a tree, right? In the middle of this?
It looks like a frozen tree in the center of this circle.
I want to break off the longest branch of the tree. Use my mage hand and snap it.
You can't.
Why not?
I definitely could.
Is it just a really big tree, or what?
You try to use your mage hand to break off something, and if you rolled a nat 20 on strength, you could not break off anything of this tree.
Okay, so it's like a magic tree. That's what you're telling
What about me?
It's like a special tree.
I take my axe to its trunk. What happens?
Roll an attack.
And this would be strength, athletic strength, trying to chop a tree.
It's just strength.
That's an 18.
You bang on it, it doesn't go through.
Does it chip it?
No, I think if it was a lower score, it would have chipped it, but it just kind of bounces off.
What kind of tree is it?
You can definitely wrap your whole
So
fist
like a
around the
birch?
trunk.
It's like a birch
Yeah,
tree?
probably
So
a birch.
It's got like white bark?
Fuck.
I say Howland.
Yeah.
Burn it down.
Listen.
Burn it down.
I think I know what needs to be done.
It needs to be burned for warmth.
You know what? I got an idea. So I'm gonna use Mage Hand, and I'm literally gonna take the crazy bitch and just dunk her down there. I'm gonna push her all the way down in there until I can't see her, and I'm gonna pull her back up and see if I can just feel the fucking jelly gives way on the other side. Because I feel
Roll
like
to
what
see
it
if
is.
drops her.
Have you guys ever seen the thing where it looks like something is just covered in water, like the water's really deep, but they go to jump into the water, and the water was like a magic lid, almost? Like the water was only an inch deep, and then below it there's...
I need to roll investigation.
Okay.
I need to know if this is bunny nut,
Could be.
and I need to know right now.
It very well
It's
could
not
be.
bunny nut. It's not bunny
It's
nut.
honey nut.
So if you hit me with that, oh yeah, it was nut, later on I'll be so mad.
It's not. It's not bunny nut. Jesus Christ. I'm not trying to make
sense. What do you think their diet is? Being zombies.
No, it would make
It would
sense.
taste so bad. And they could produce so much of it. You know how much bunnies fuck? Oh, that's a likely fear I had, David. It's not out of the ordinary.
So anyway.
You take the woman.
But do you know what I'm talking about, though? Do you know what I'm getting at? Where it's almost like
it's
a
just
lid.
a barrier, but then
Yeah.
it drops a lot further.
Yeah, like it's literally just like maybe like a couple feet of this jelly shit, and then below it is completely hollow. It's like a protective lid or something.
You take the woman, and Bendel eyes you doing that. He kind of like looks towards you, but he doesn't mention anything against you bringing the woman. He's just a bit surprised as you kind of pull her off of your shoulder, and she's not screaming, but you can hear her muffled voice as you push her into the protective lid that you are trying to determine, and you can't hear them, and you're pushing it down. Your theory holds true, Howland. You push her down, and you feel like a weight. She's being pulled down.
I knew it. I knew that was a fucking... So I'm gonna pull her back up, and I'm gonna take that shit off her mouth, and I'm just gonna be like, hey.
Roll a strength.
Oh, so now the suck. Well, let's see if I lose her or not.
What's that?
-1 for me. So 12.
Rib, you see Howland. He's kind of happy with himself for a second, and then as he starts pulling up, he's suddenly like pulled into the hole. Not completely. His arm
Telepathically, I say to him, now that's one big oof.
Dude, this is the good suck.
What's happening?
She's getting sucked. She's getting sucked off right now. You might need to help me if we want to keep this crazy bitch. If not, I mean, I can just drop her and she can, maybe die. I don't know, but...
That's up to you. I think we need to go in, though.
Okay, so help me pull her back up. I have a question.
Bendel reaches down into the thing, grabs onto your hand at first, and then reaches down and grabs onto her leg and pulls her out with your help.
I'm gonna take the fucking wrap off of her mouth and I'm gonna ask her if she saw anything. I don't expect this to be even a moderately good answer, but I'm gonna ask.
You kind of pull her up, and she's upside down. She's staring at you. You ungag her. She says, I just felt the warmth of him on me.
Alright, put the gag back on. At this point, I'm thinking we all know what we have to do.
Where's Howland in relation to the hole?
Right next to it, because he just put the girl in there.
I'm gonna push her in.
Him or the girl?
Her.
Would Howland allow
Yes.
this to happen, or
Without question.
Okay. Rib kind of smacks the girl out of Bendel's hand as she falls back into the hole.
Does she fall quick?
Yeah, real quick.
Was there a thud?
No, you can't hear anything after that.
I'm gonna roll for pushing Howland in.
No. Get away.
I should probably take advantage, being I'm so much stronger than him.
Dude, get away.
Hey, roll.
Dude, don't touch me. Fuck.
Ooh, that's a 20.
Ooh, that's a 10.
-1, 9.
None.
Did I push him in?
No, dude, you missed and you tripped and you fell.
You push him to go into the hole. What's Howland's reaction?
I'm like, ew, no. And I
No, you're
duck
falling
under.
into the hole.
I take his
No,
head.
get away.
I take his head and dunk it in,
Huh.
and he fights me for a second. Like he really puts up the most amount of fight he should
Fuck
put up.
you?
But I get him in there.
It's not canon. At most, I'm imagining
like
you
a,
just push me, and I
it's
fall
like a
in and I
casket
swan
match.
dive.
It's a casket match.
No, it's not.
I pushed him. I had a 20 and he had a 9. He's in the fucking.
No, you
hole.
get away.
Oh yeah, but you're trying to be a dick about it.
Yeah,
so
fuck
No,
you, dude.
right. I'm just pushing him in. Like he would have never gone first. But
I would have gone first. You don't know that.
Well, he's going first.
Yeah, and I'm taking you
Everyone's
with me.
happy,
I'm
it
rolling.
seems like.
I'm rolling to
No.
grab
Oh
you
my
with me.
god. We've been going for 40 minutes and you guys are at a hole and you're arguing about a hole.
Yes.
He's in. 20 to 9. He's in.
I just rolled an 18. I'm bringing you with me. You're coming in this hole.
No.
Okay, that's that's fair.
can't roll
No,
Yep,
yeah,
fuck you.
no, yes, you can.
No, I
Yeah, you
didn't
can.
roll
Up,
against
you
him
wanted
yet.
it.
Fine, roll against it.
You wanted this.
He has a 17.
I'm bringing you with me.
I have an 18.
Nope.
His modifier
coming.
sucked him down to a 17.
Okay, here's
Brian
here's
brought
what
me to an
happens,
18.
both of you. Stop arguing like children. You're supposed
He's
to work
in the
together.
damn hole and I'm
Dude,
not
you're
in
coming.
the
Fine,
hole.
he's in the hole, but he grabbed onto
You're
you.
coming.
And
Like
I
he was trying to
blocked
pull.
it
Hold
with
on,
my
hold on. Shut up!
superior
Shut the fuck
strength
up!
skill.
Shut up! Oh my fucking god!
Go
Why
on.
do you guys have to be such some competitive fucks?
He started it, but
No.
Here's what happens. Rib pushes Howland into the hole as he's falling down. He grabs onto Rib as he's falling. It doesn't pull Rib through. In fact, I think Rib smiles a bit, and then Bendel just smacks Rib forward as he jumps
fucking told.
into the hole.
What a bitch.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I had superior rolls. It should have been on.
No, you get away. Don't touch.
Factor in, I probably fall on Howland.
No, get away.
I imagine you two are still arguing as you fall into this pit. Maybe you guys are grabbing onto each other because you're angry at each other because you are acting like kids trying to be the first in or trying to push the other one down. But as soon as you enter into this void, this new area, your emotions are numbed. You understand that they're still there, but they don't matter in the moment. As you look down this very, very, very deep pit, black at the bottom, and you can't see past 10 feet down from where you're coming from. You see the walls around you as they've been carved out of the rock almost perfectly circular. And in the rock there are carvings, things you can recognize. A lot of them are symbols, like X's and O's all over the place, but then you recognize a flame in the midst of other carvings of people that seem to be worshipping it. That's very prevalent in the other carvings that you see all over the place. This place is not like the reality you guys have just left. It's different. It's murky. It's a different type of color. It's a different type of...
Is it like Spider-Man Noir?
No, I would actually picture it as Spider-Gwen's world from the movie. Like,
No,
everything has a
Spider-Man.
different... No, Spider-Gwen. Everything has a different shine to it. For you guys, you are black and white. You guys, everything else around you has this weird different blur. Like, everything has an aura, but it's kind of shining off of it. Everything seems to be stretched in their light around you guys. This is definitely a different world. The walls, in fact, they're not stone. All the walls are perfectly sculptured out of it. There's no divots, there's no scratches. Everything looks clean except for everything else. And you see the woman that you dropped into the hole, she's still kind of falling down this large pit, but it's still slow and murky. And you guys feel weird too as you're going down. Both of you roll wisdom saving throws.
Wisdom?
Oof.
10.
Okay. As you're falling down, your mind is plastered all around it. Memories that are not your own. Memories of your brains seemingly being emptied. And you're alone in your own memories. Like, you know you're alive, you know where you are, but suddenly you just feel empty. Like you're alone. Your emotions leave you for a second as you're cascaded with all these different types of whispers that turn into loud shouts of people saying the weirdest and most out of context things like,
"They're not welcome.
We're not going anywhere.
what is
This
it?
place.
What are we hearing? In fact, it's so bad that both of you can hear echoes of it since you are telepathically linked in some way.
This is intense.
What is Howland and Rib's reaction to this sickeningly weird sensation? Like your emotions feel not numb, but lighter.
Like, it feels like it's getting better. Like, I'm becoming more relaxed.
Yeah, but at the same time, anxious. Like you're just sitting there not allowed to say anything or do anything.
I'm trying to meditate, keep a very level head about it.
I'm beginning to worry about being lulled into a false safety. So I'm on, like, an anxious edge. I'm like, ooh, what could it be? It's like that one song. You know that one song? Who could it be now?
You hear another whisper. Once you hear this whisper, you suddenly kind of remember what's happening, and you hear Bendel closer to you, Rib. You need to stay focused. Think of something. Think of anything.
In my head, it goes to, like, 50 First Dates with that, wouldn't it be nice? Montage of me and Schmebbles, like, running around in front of the forest.
So you think of Schmebbles, the dire wolf that Floral allowed you to keep. The only thing they allowed you to keep from your moments in the forest with Scrape and the rest of your family as you were kind of lulled into the Soulwood forest. And you just remember the months of you and Schmebbles getting to know each other as you were forced to keep each other safe away from these fighting, monstrous trees. In fact, you go into your mind, and it's black at first. And the camera slowly lightens up as the trees are the only thing that are staying black. And the camera is on all of these trees as there's white and light surrounding all of these black trees. And then we see Rib with his crossbow walking into the frame with Schmebbles by his side. Still a dire puppy, but very big. And this has been several months of you walking through this forest, only seeing small shadowy figures here and there. And you're afraid, and Schmebbles is on edge. What do you do?
This feels like a really bad trip, but I need to stay focused on the gel thing I'm sliding down.
You have been in this forest for months, and for some reason you don't feel the need to eat or drink. This has just been a weird mess of anxiety for you. And the only reason that has kept Rib in a memory or in a good sense of sanity has been Schmebbles.
But if this is the moment I'm getting taken, I'm also tripping Sack.
Everything's white, and the only things in here that are black are the trees. There's no detail to the trees at all. They're just shadows. Black shadows. You can touch them, but that's all they are. Also picture whispers like from that SpongeBob episode with Squidward where he's like, I'm all alone.
I feel like Rib's overwhelmed by the trip and not knowing if the trees are actually moving or not. I'm telling Schmobbles to get out of here and stay safe, but I'm kind of freaking the fuck out.
I want to say, like, this is what Rib's been in an intense battle for sanity, and for these months that he's been in this forest, especially with Schmebbles. And Schmebbles has been kind of like your service dog. He's not leaving your side, even if you do mention that he should get out of here, which you have said several times over the course of this time that you've been in this bad trip. Every time you say that, he kind of just puts his head next to your thigh, encircles you, kind of reminds you that he's there.
There's only one thing logically to do, but it would piss off the trees, so I don't want to do it.
What are you thinking?
Well, you mentioned I had a crossbow. You were adamant about that. So you probably want me to shoot a tree, but that would piss off a tree. And a bunch of other trees would be pissed too.
I wouldn't say that. Try it.
No! What do you mean? I know I get my ass beat at the end of this. Like, we know what happens. I just don't want to be the bad guy.
Roll perception.
Alright, no.
With advantage.
19.
You've been hearing whispers like an echo. Every time you've made a step, there's been an echo throughout the entire large area of effect that you've been in. All of a sudden, there's multiple steps happening around you. You look around, you turn around, and you hear it before Schmebbles does, and there's an outline of a figure walking towards you. And then as it's walking towards you, there's another one that is walking towards you, and then another one walking towards you. As you see them walking towards you, their hands outstretch, almost like they're T-modeling, but their hands come out so you can see the outline of their hands. They kind of connect and touch each other as they're coming towards you. What do?
I shoot myself.
In actuality?
Yeah, in the head.
You point the crossbow towards your head, and you hear Schmebbles whimper as you do this. Does that stop you at all?
Yeah. I shoot the figures.
Okay, so there's 3 of them.
Take out 3 arrows, and I shoot them all. Reloading very quickly.
Roll a d20, straight up and down. Okay. You shoot all 3 of them. There's a hole that goes through the outlines. Like, as if you're shooting through paper, they crumble to the ground.
I get up, and me and Schmebbles start to run.
And you start running through the forest again?
Yes, I want to be running west.
The camera stays on the spot that you just left, and you go left off the camera. And then a moment goes by as Rib comes again onto that same spot, but from the other direction. And then he goes off-screen left, and then comes back to the right. And on that 19, you seem to recognize that you have stopped going places. It seems like you are going in the same direction. It seems like it's no longer disappearing. It's no longer continuous. It seems like you've hit the edge of whatever this map is.
I keep going.
Alright, that keeps happening over and over and over again. Over and over and over again.
So it's like a treadmill?
Yeah.
I stop. I turn to my left. I go that way.
And it happens again, but just in a different direction.
I go right.
Picture it like a small planet. You just keep going around. It's the same area. But eventually, Schmebble stops as you're just continuously moving back and forth, going crazy. And Schmebbles walks up to the outlined figures and kind of growls at them.
I run over.
You see the outlined figures and the holes in all 3 of them where the arrow had gone into and has disappeared. The holes are moving like mouths.
What are they saying?
You can't hear them. It's too quiet.
How big are the bodies?
They're about like human size, smaller than you.
I go where they came from, and I pick up my crossbow bolts.
They had emerged from the trees. As if someone had shaved some of the blackness off of the trees and created outlines of the figures. That's what you remember seeing.
I climb to the top of a tree.
All right. You start climbing to the top of the tree, and I picture Rib with these red eyes, like his eyes are shot, and he's got these dark circles under his eyes, and he climbs to the top of one of these trees, and he looks down, and it's a weird image of these trees. Do you know those paintings where if you're standing really close, you can't see anything, but you go really far back and you can see something?
Yeah.
You finally get to the top of this tree, and you look down, and it's a weird symbol. So there's a circle in the middle, and then there's a square on the bottom left corner of the circle, and then there's another square on the top right corner of the circle. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And it seems like there's that pattern. Roll perception.
15.
You hear Schmebbles bark loudly as the outlined figure kind of connects over Schmebbles, and he barks again, and he tears through the whole of the outlines as they kind of connect into the same figure, this one growing larger, and they're going after Schmebbles.
I jump down there.
Roll a strength saving throw.
17.
As you jump down and go towards Schmebbles, the trees start...
Actually, on saving throws for strength, I get +7 too.
+7 additionally, or just +7?
So my strength is +4, but under saving throws, I have +7.
Oh, because it's a +4 on your strength, and because you're proficient in it. Yeah. Okay. So you jump down from the trees, and you start heading towards Schmebbles, and as you jump down from the tree shadows kind of grab onto you, Rib, and try pulling you away, but as you go towards Schmebbles, you tear away from the tree and go towards Schmebbles and these outlined paper figures. What do?
I surf through them and grab Schmubbles.
Roll initiative.
-1.
You still go first. Roll an attack.
I get 2 attacks.
The first one, you try going past it, and it kind of just steps out of the way. You push your feet onto a black shadow tree and jump back with your claws, digging into the paper, and you kind of slash through them. What is the thing that has made Rib the most angry in all of his life? The one person that has made Rib the most angry.
His situation. There's no person that just fucks with him.
Okay, then it's this. You start tearing through this piece of paper, and I want to say that Rib is getting emotionally angry, and he can't control himself anymore because these figures and this world has fucked with him so much, and he doesn't know what else to do, and he's tearing through this figure, and there's shreds of paper all around him, and as he's doing this, the paper seems to kind of change shape and change color.
What does it change into?
And he stops and he looks down at this piece of paper and these shreds. It looks like paper shredded, but if he looks closely now, he sees the paper looks like him.
Where's Schmebbles?
You turn and you see Schmebbles just kind of looking at you eye to eye, and he licks your face and he curls under your arm. What do?
I take him and I'm trying to get out of here.
You pick him up and you start walking. Roll another perception. Okay. The camera is on Rib. As he's walking towards the camera's moving with him, and he's got Schmebbles by his leg, just walking out, frustrated. And we see the shadows of the trees start to converge into one long, taunting shape, and it starts looking towards where Rib is going. The shape stretches upwards, and then it goes towards Rib without Rib noticing, and then the camera cuts. You open your eyes, Rib. You're back in the chasm that you guys are falling down, and you see Bendel looking at you eye to eye, and he says, "There you go.
Fuck you, Bendel.
I don't control what you see. I'm just here to keep you grounded. Have you ever had a bad trip? You don't do that alone."
Yeah, probably should have thought of that one.
For some reason, you're hearing and you're seeing all these things inside your mind, these weird echoes of what's going on, of different people and different ideas of, different whispers inside your head from all over the chasm as you guys are floating down. And if you look around, this whole chasm has weird markings all over the walls, but it's not like a cave would be, where it would be jutted out all over the place like it was just made by nature. It looks like this has been cut completely perfect in a circular image going all the way down. There's screams and whispers of people saying different things, but they all have the same idea in your head, at least. Saying things like,
Why am I here?
Not me.
What do you need?
"Can I leave?
Why can't I leave?
Where am I going?" It's happening so much, and it's hurting you a bit. It's kind of like burying you in these thoughts. You're losing yourself. And at first, you were looking at Rib, and you're trying to figure out if he was going through the same situation. But before you can even look at him, this is what it starts to bury you, and you can't think of anything. What is Howland doing?
I believe I'm trying to meditate, and I'm trying to keep a firm hold of myself. I know there's some kind of magical coercion going on, some kind of magical trickery. Maybe not even trickery, but magical influence going on.
Make you roll a wisdom saving throw once you get in here. Ooh.
What just happened here?
You got a nat 1.
Thank goodness.
Well, I want to say you're flooded lots of memories inside. I want to say that Howland... Ooh, this is good. Howland is flooded with quick memories of flames and screams. You remember yourself as a child inside a small room, looking around, and there's lots of screams happening. At first, you're upset, but then all of a sudden, a voice cuts through all of it as you hear Bendel. Howland. Howland, can you hear me? You gotta think about something. You gotta anchor yourself to your memories unless you want to get lost in this place.
Okay, memories. That song, Memories, how do we go? I'm gonna think about my good times with Kane. And possibly Lizzie.
Describe Kane to me.
Kane is taller, Rastafarian dude. And he's an expert assassin. He's incredibly dangerous. He could easily chop your fucking fingers off and just kill you, you know, with his daggers like it wasn't a thing. Like, he's an expert assassin, but at the same time, he's genuinely a good person. You know, he's a really easygoing guy, and when he kills somebody, it's not so much that he wants to, but it's typically he feels like he's doing what he needs to do, and he's usually there for guidance, and he's very spiritual.
The camera slowly fades from Howland meditating in this chasm. It's fading to a shot of the Knights congregation inside of it. We see people moving around the hallways, and then we cut to another shot of a door as it opens, and we see Kane inside of it. He's sitting right side up, not in a chair, on the ground, but he's hovering, almost, but if you look close enough, you can see he's standing on his toes.
I'm gonna ask him what's going on. I'm gonna ask him what's happening. Kane, my boy, my son.
Roll dexterity saving throw.
Fuck! Did I do it?
Not necessarily.
Fuck! Well.
As soon as you say, Kane, my boy, like a squirrel, I want to say, this boy has done a flip with 3 daggers outstretched towards you. 1 in his mouth, 2 in his hands, and his eyes are closed, pointing them at you, and then his eyes open up, and he says, "Oh, Howland, sorry, you spooked me."
Yeah? Yeah, alright. I can see that.
I didn't mean to, spook you as well. And he puts away his daggers. What can I do for you?
Okay. Let's say that you were maybe falling through a magical cave into depths unknown to you, and you were really unsure about what was gonna happen. What would you do?
That seems to be a bit of a peculiar idea.
And it's oddly specific too, don't forget that.
Oddly specific for sure. Why do you ask?
Well, I kinda got this problem. You see... Okay, so hold on. How did the game really... Is this, like...
It's a flashback, but don't worry.
Okay, so I was gonna say, like, I'm falling through a cave right now, but I have this very odd feeling that I'm going to fall through a fucking magic cave in the future. Just a feeling, I guess.
He looks at you with his eyes kind of squinted, and he cocks his head a bit. It's kind of like you when I say something stupid, and you're just kind of like,
Oh.
I guess in this hypothetical situation in the future, I would tell you to just be prepared. Because Howland, we all fall.
Yeah.
And when we do, we just have to be prepared to rise. As he says that, there's another knock on the door. Less of a knock and more of a pound.
But of course.
If you look towards the door, you actually see Lizzie with Rio right next to her.
Yeah.
Wasn't it a hammer? Like a big old hammer that is her main whip?
Big fucking hammer.
She's got a big fucking hammer, and it's resting on the ground, and she's got her chin over it. She's much taller than Rhea is. Lizzie goes, I've got, I should say we've got some propositions for you.
Yeah.
What I picture this as is a bit of a mission going forward. Rhea continues after Lizzie, and she says, So, there's a village who's been sending us some kind of peculiar messages, and Lizzie and I think that we should probably go check it out.
Yeah, it probably should. If you think they're being all skeeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I wanted to lead this stealth mission, but Lizzie says that you might be better suited for it. But hey, I'll lead the mission. I will lead that mission, and I'll probably do better than you would.
Well, you know what? Maybe you would. But how about this? Sis. How about I come along, just in case?
Oh, so you do want me to lead the mission?
Yeah, sure.
Too scared?
Well, you see, here's the thing. And I open up my coat real quick, and I show her a cat hiding in my coat, and I'm like, I got things to worry about right now, and I put it away.
Is this cat ever gonna fucking come up ever again?
Listen, dude. No. No, it's not.
Kane steps up and he says, "Am I welcome on this journey?"
I thought for sure you were gonna be. He's gonna put his hand on my shoulder like Howland. What the fuck? Why is that a fucking cat? Oh no!
But Kane says, "Am I welcome on this mission?" Hell fucking yeah!
I look at them both and I'm like, but of course.
So I got meme Howland right now, don't I?
Little bit. Little bit.
The camera cuts to a view outside of the mountain as you guys walk through the snow as if you're rising from the snow, but it's probably just an exit from the mountain onto the plain below. And Lizzie points to a nearby village. This one is getting closer to the mountain than it normally would. The villages usually try to stay away from the mountain, but this one's oddly close, and that's the only reason that Lizzie says that we should probably do something about it.
So they're moving in on our territory?
Basically.
What stupid pieces of shit that probably smell dirty. I bet they have tiny baby arms. Tell me they have tiny baby arms. They're tiny baby armed people. If you try to tell me they're not tiny baby armed people, I won't believe it. But, so we're like up on the fucking mountain, like scoping it out. Are we...
You guys are on the plain now. It's filled with snow. It's pretty cold, but again, you're used to it.
What do I see here? Like, I wanna investigate this village closely. Like,
roll investigation.
No? Okay, so I rolled a 5 then.
Yeah.
Okay.
5. I don't think Howland's all there for right now. I think because this is a flashback, but it is also present Howland. He's in a bit of a funk because he's going through this fucking chasm, but he's still trying to be in a flashback. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like you just don't see what's going on in the blizzard. I mean, in the snowy village. You can just see that there's a small campfire and a few makeshift houses over there. And Rhea elbows you, Howland. Hey, what gives?
What do you mean?
You're not all there. Usually you're all like kill and joke, but you're not there right now. What's going on?
Let's say I'm in deep contemplation about many things. And also this, and I pull out the cat. And I show her.
Howland, where the fuck did you get this cat?
Listen, we don't need... You know what, Rio? We are not going to talk about the cat. As a matter of fact, we are not going to talk about the cat at all.
Jesus Christ, whatever. If you look at Lizzie, she was looking at the cat with her eyes a bit trembling and got a little bit of drool going on.
Lizzie, do you want to eat this cat?
I would like that very much, actually, I'm so starving.
Here, Lizzie, eat this cat.
The camera stays on Howland as you hand her the cat, and then there's a hump noise. The camera sees Kane go, eyes widen, and he grabs at his mouth.
Ah!
What the fuck?
I just imagine it's the Home Alone, like, clenching. Oh, no! Oh, my God! Kane is probably the most normal one here, honestly.
I figured as much. Kane, I feel like, is noticing something up with you, Howland, and he grabs your shoulder, and he steps in front of you, and he says, I say we step through the village, see what's going on, maybe talk to their leader.
We'll do that.
Yeah, sure, if you want to take this for amateur hour. That's a pretty basic plan, Kane.
What's your plan?
A basic plan from a basic boy.
From a basic plan from a basic bitch.
Kane leads the pack, Lizzie goes next, and then Rhea looks back at you, Howland, and... Howland, I'm a little bit worried. Just do me a favor and stick close to me. I don't want you getting hurt.
Dougie Jones.
Shut the fuck up! I hate you so much right now!
I just look at her.
Mr. Jackpot. Fuck me! She starts heading off closer, and I need you to roll a stealth check.
Okay. Fuck! Fucking shit.
Well, that's 6, so I'm gonna say that Kane is doing the Naruto run, but not as bad. And he comes up behind one of the tents, and he's looking inside the village, and he sees a bunch of people roaming around. And then he looks back at you, Howland, and he kind of puts up one finger to his mouth as if to say hush. And he's moving around the corner, around the tents, as Lizzie and Rhea both do that. This is present Howland, but also mixed with past Howland. You're looking into the village, and there's something that you notice and remember about this village. Not about the village per se, but some of the people walking around have weird armor that's been makeshifted together. But on the chest pieces of the armor, you see a logo that President Howland remembers. It's a logo of a mountain.
Son of a bitch.
Now, because you rolled low on your stealth, I feel like this is where that would come in handy. You're going to be caught either way. It's either like, oh, they're going to see you, or you're going to do something because you're angry.
I am gonna do something definitely because I'm angry. Oh boy. Okay. Tell me this, where exactly in relation am I to these people? Like, I'm in there, what do I see? What's around me?
You're closer to the mountain than you are to the village, but you're right outside of the village. You see the makeshift tents inside, and you see the fire in the middle of the village, and you're looking around at all these makeshift tents as Rhea, Lizzie, and Kane are moving to the left of the tents. You actually see Rhea look at you, and she goes, Howland,
Yes.
what are you doing?
I'm thinking.
Come here.
I'm thinking. How many fires are there in here? I'm assuming the fires are what they're using for light right now.
There's a few of them. Like, there's one big one in the center, but then there's like 6 or 7 scattered around the place.
Can I try to use prestidigitation to put out these fires?
All the fires in the camp go out. You see Lizzie, Kane, and Rhea as they're looking at you, almost as if they're upset or surprised, but they're also kind of scared. The fire goes out, and we hear all these villagers say,
What the fuck was that? What's going on? And back to back, they can't get us all.
people are panicking, and they all seem to be screaming.
Prestidigitation, that's all about creating illusions, right?
Yeah, it is a cantrip. You just use it to take out the fire.
So I can't use it again?
No, you can't. Just, I'm asking you what you're going to do.
I want to create the false illusion of a screaming baby by the fire. Not in it, but like around the central fire.
Okay.
Screaming baby sitting by the fire. Baby is crying wildly.
Like the audience and everybody hears this screaming baby in the middle of in the middle of the fire, you said?
Not in it, but like...
Next to it.
Yeah.
You actually see one of the villagers starts walking towards the baby, and you hear other people, like a woman, go, "That's a trick, don't go near it!"
Bullshit! How do they know it's a trick? Fuck them. They're stupid. Hate them. Get out.
It's just a baby. It's crying. One of the villagers, one with some of the armor, walks up to the baby and tries picking it up.
When he attempts to pick up the baby, I would like to spew poison spray out of my mouth as hard as I can. Coat the entire area around me in poison spray. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's a 12. Yeah, that can hit. Yeah, you spray the area in poison spray. Are you aiming it at the villagers or just around yourself?
I'm attempting to almost make a perimeter, so to speak, where they can't really get close to me.
That happens.
While they can't really touch me, I want to sit in there and I want to start channeling Acid Splash.
Are you walking into the village or are you still on the outside of the village?
I'm standing in the middle of all of my poison mist, so they can't touch me.
Are you on the outside of the village or the inside of the village?
I suppose the outside, because I feel like it'd be the middle, honestly, because from my point of view, we were just going into it. We weren't, like, in the village, but we were around there.
You do that with your poison spray. You actually hear the villagers say, "What's going on? I can hear them outside." "No, we don't have the resources to fight them right now." You can actually hear Kane go, "Howland, what are you doing?"
I just look at him, and I'm like, you want to know the worst part about knowing the future?
"Howland?"
The worst part, Kane, about knowing the future is that you know you can't stop it. But you can always try. When I say that, I want to do what I did in the tavern and put a lot of my energy into this giant thing of Acid Splash.
There's this huge ball of Acid Splash that is coated in this ghostly purple aura, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And in fact, the villagers can see it now, and some of them are running towards you with swords. They run at you, and they fall into the poison spray and start choking. The ones that are coming in, some of them are covering up their mouth, but as one of them comes closer to you, Lizzie just takes a big fucking hammer and swings like a javelin into their face and knocks them out of the way. And she goes, Howland, whatever you're doing, do it quicker.
I just look at her and I'm like, just imagine I've been sitting there just like, and then she says that and I'm like, Once this is a giant thing of acid splash, I want to just send it out almost like a gigantic arc from both of my hands, and I want it to coat it on everything. Like I want to set this whole village on fire.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Roll a d20 for me. Just the way you normally do it. Don't go into your thing. Just roll a d20. 19.
Looks like there's a fire.
Okay. You cast this acid splash into the center of the village as it starts pouring all over the village. And you hear screams of people as if they're running, and then all of a sudden they're snuffed out, and there's people who have a gurgling sound in their mouths like as all this acid stings and swallows up almost everybody in this village. And you actually hear one guy go, "But the baby!" It's gone.
Forget about your fucking baby. Just imagine while this is happening, Howland is just chuckling to himself maniacally as hell. Oh boy.
You're chuckling, and you turn around, actually, to look at Rhea and Lizzie and Kane. When you do that, you see the horrified face of Lizzie, who's looking up at Kane. And at first you don't know why or what's happening. But then you look closer at Kane, and you see his whole back has been covered in acid.
Ooh.
And he turns around to face you, Howland. As he's turning around, he looks normal, and you're like, oh, he's fine. But then you look on his other side of his face.
Oh, no.
Part of that has been scarred.
No.
And he looks at you, Howland, and he says, Howland. And he falls to the ground.
Oh, fuck. Oh, that's mighty oof.
Rhea runs over to Kane and on his knees covers his body in her bright blue aura, and she looks up at you and she says, Howland, what's going on?
A terrible price has been paid tonight on both sides. It's time to go. I want to say it's time to go, and I want to pick up Kane with Mage Hand gently as possible, and just, I want to run back.
You pick him up as gently as possible, and you start running back. You start running as quickly as you possibly can towards the mountain. The camera stays on the village as you leave the frame, and then we see Lizzie and Rhea look at each other before heading off after you. And then the camera pans slowly to the left, and slower and slower, and we see one last person in a mountaineer's outfit looking on before he too leaves the frame.
Son of a bitch.
We cut inside the Knight's congregation, inside one of those infirmary places, and we see Lizzie and Rhea standing over Kane, who's kind of on his stomach with the bad side of his face upright, and we see Vincent there, and he's a bit aghast at the wounds, and Rhea is also upset, and Lizzie, I think, just has her face in her hands. What's Howland doing?
Oh boy. This is big mood, Shirley, right now. Is there anything I can do to heal him? Or is that just...
What could Howland do that could fix this, is my only thing.
Maybe if there was some way to, like, infuse the acid that Howland has power over with some kind of regenerative medicine so it can just do the exact opposite. It was just like some healing goo spray shit. I don't think I can augment acid on the fly like that.
I don't think there's anything you could do right now.
I would imagine Howland is standing next to Kane's bed. I'm gonna just gently put my hand on his shoulder, and then I'm gonna walk away.
You walk away, and as you're about to leave the room, you come face to face with Malik, and he's just staring at you. It's a neutral face, he's just looking down at you.
I just look at him, and I continue to walk.
And the camera stays on Howland as he's walking towards the camera, and we just see Malik in the background as he slowly disappears. And then the camera cuts.